Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. You're listening to the RX Daily Dose. Today's episode is being recorded for Monday, May 11th, and I'm your host, Ian Parnagoni. We update this podcast every week for healthcare providers, medical professionals, and anyone who has an interest in drug updates. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms and social media, including iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. All links can be found in the show notes below. So we took a break last week, and we have a lot to go over, so we're going to be splitting up this episode into actually 2 episodes this week, one for today, and then one probably either Wednesday or Thursday of this week. In this episode, we have updates for you from the FDA for approval of Ongentys for Parkinson's symptoms, and approval of MenQuadfi vaccine, that's a meningococcal conjugate vaccine. We also have new indication and age approvals for Zejula for ovarian cancer, Jublia for onychomycosis, and Keytruda for multiple types of different cancers. We'll be giving our regular update on coronavirus numbers in the next episode this week. Starting with the first one, the FDA approved opicapone, which goes by brand name Ongentys, as a once-daily oral selective catechol-O-methyltransferase inhibitor for the adjunct treatment of OFF symptoms in patients with Parkinson's disease. Ongentys, which will be available in 25 milligrams and 50 milligram capsules for add-on treatment for levodopa-carbidopa therapy, works by inhibiting the COMT enzyme, which breaks down levodopa in the blood, in turn prolonging the clinical effects of levodopa-carbidopa therapy. The approval is based on data from a clinical trial program which included 2 phase 3 trials, BIPARC 1 and BIPARC 2, in which the primary endpoint was change from baseline in absolute time in the off state as assessed by patient diaries. In BIPARC 1, the study assessed safety and efficacy of Ongentys in approximately 600 patients with Parkinson's disease compared with placebo and the active comparator drug entacapone. Participants were randomly assigned to one of 3 doses of the study drug, 5 milligrams, 25 milligrams, or 50 milligrams, placebo, or the active comparator for 14 or 15 weeks. Results of that trial revealed a off-time reduction of 60 minutes in the 50 milligram group. That's a 50% greater reduction than what was observed in the active comparator group. In BIPARC 2, investigators assessed adjunct therapy with Ongentys versus placebo in 427 patients with Parkinson's disease and motor fluctuations. That study demonstrated a 54-minute reduction in off time versus placebo in the 50 milligram group, with daily off time reduced by 126 minutes over 1-year follow-up. Safety data from both trials indicated the most frequently reported adverse events were dyskinesia, constipation, an increase in blood creatine kinase, hypotension, syncope, and a decrease in weight. The FDA also approved a new meningococcal conjugate vaccine going by brand name MenQuadfi, and is the only meningococcal vaccine to cover against Neisseria meningitis serogroups A, C, Y, and W for the prevention of invasive meningococcal disease in those ages 2 through 56 years and older. The quadrivalent meningococcal vaccine was designed to elicit and demonstrate a high immune response across all 4 serogroups for multiple ages. MenQuadfi is the first and only quadrivalent meningococcal vaccine in the United States that uses tetanus toxoid as a protein carrier. It will be available in a ready-to-use liquid formulation, allowing healthcare providers to avoid vaccine reconstitution. The FDA approval is based on clinical data from 5 double-blind phase 2 and 3 trials that assess safety and immune response following vaccination with nearly 5,000 people aged 2 years and older. Based on study objectives, immune responses elicited by MenQuadfi achieved non-inferiority compared with those induced by licensed quadrivalent meningococcal vaccines. I mentioned earlier there were 5 total studies. 4 of those studies evaluated MenQuadfi in meningococcal naive individuals. The other study evaluated the vaccine in people previously immunized with a quadrivalent meningococcal vaccine. Against each of the 4 meningococcal serogroups, most of the meningococcal naive trial participants had a vaccine-induced response 30 days following vaccination with MenQuadfi. Among adolescents and adults previously vaccinated, 92 to 98% demonstrated an immune response against each serogroup. The FDA also approved the expanded use of niraparib, which goes by brand name Zejula, as a first option for advanced ovarian cancer in women who have responded to chemotherapy. The approval, which does not limit the drug to women with certain genetic anomalies, should open up Zejula to expanded use in a larger patient population, and could signal a similar opportunity for other drugs in the same class, known as PARP inhibitors. PARP inhibitors work by blocking enzymes involved in repairing damaged DNA, thereby helping to kill cancer cells. They are a growing focus of drug research with potential for use in breast, lung, and prostate cancers. Zejula is the first PARP inhibitor cleared for use on its own as a first-line maintenance therapy for ovarian cancer patients who do not have a mutation of the BRCA enzyme, which occurs in about 20% of women with ovarian cancer. Maintenance therapy, meaning it is used to help keep cancer from recurring, can significantly boost sales because the drug is typically used for a longer duration. The added approval will help Zejula better compete with rival PARP inhibitors which include Lynparza and Rubraca. Zejula was previously approved for use as a maintenance therapy in patients who had recurrent bouts of ovarian cancer and as a treatment for patients with specific genetic mutations who had previously been given multiple rounds of chemotherapy. Its place in therapy typically sat around a 4th-line agent. As first-line maintenance, it can now be used earlier in the course of the disease for patients who have responded to chemotherapy. The FDA also expanded the approval of a fluconazole topical solution, which goes by brand name Jublia, to include treatment of onychomycosis of the toenail in patients aged 6 years and older. Previously, Jublia was only approved for adults aged 18 years and older. Onychomycosis is increasingly seen in pediatric patients. It represents roughly 15% of all nail dystrophies in children. The approval was based on data from a multi-center open-label Phase 4 study that evaluated the efficacy, safety, and pharmacokinetics of Jublia in 62 patients aged 6 to 16 years with mild to severe onychomycosis of the toenail. The primary endpoint was safety over 52 weeks, as well as pharmacokinetic assessment at 4 weeks in patients aged 12 to 16 years with moderate to severe onychomycosis. Efficacy assessments included mycological cure, complete cure that is defined as completely clear nails and fungus-free, and clinical efficacy defined as less than 10% toenail involvement. At 52 weeks, results showed that 65% of patients achieved mycological cure and were fungus-free, with a 36.7 mycological cure rate observed as early as 12 weeks. Additionally, 40% of patients achieved complete cure, had clear nails, and 50% received clinical efficacy by week 52. Regarding safety, Jublia was well tolerated, with the most common treatment-related adverse event being ingrown nails. The systemic exposure of Jublia in children was comparable to that seen in adults. The FDA also approved a higher recommended dose of the immunotherapy pembrolizumab, which goes by brand name Keytruda, taken less often for adult patients across all cancer types in which the drug is used. The new dose of 400 milligrams every 6 weeks is approved for patients who take the drug by itself, as well as those who take it in combination with other medications. The new dosage option will be available in addition to the current dose of 200 milligrams every 3 weeks. The FDA approved the new dose under accelerated approval, basing its decision on data about the way the body processes Keytruda, as well as the relationship between exposure to the drug and both efficacy and safety. To keep the approval in place, the FDA may require that these results be verified in confirmatory trials. Keytruda is approved to treat certain cases of multiple different types of cancer, including non-small cell lung, small cell lung, head and neck, bladder, gastric, esophageal, cervical, liver, and kidney, as well as melanoma, and cancer that is microsatellite instability high. Merck, the manufacturer of Keytruda, noted that severe side effects can occur, including lung, colon, or liver inflammation, hormone problems, kidney dysfunction, and severe skin reactions, and they stated that the drug should be withheld or discontinued and the side effects treated with steroids when appropriate. And that's all I have for this week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll include all links in the show notes below, so please go back and check those out too. Please connect with me on any of your social media platforms and give me feedback on what you heard today. I'd love to know what you thought about the episode. And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.